You're listening to Storage Nerds Podcast, where we unravel the best-kept secret of the real estate investing world, the storage industry. Join the grassroots guru in self-storage, Stacy Rossetti, in insightful discussions about finding, funding, and running these spaces, allowing you to yield the highest returns possible. Get your foot in the door on self-storage and discover how to properly purchase facilities, negotiate with sellers, and close the deal without worries. Start unpacking that investment wisdom with Stacy right now.
We're going to go over today one of my storage facilities. I don't know what number it is, but just so everybody knows, I've been over the past couple of weeks really just going through every one of the storage facilities that I've ever bought. I'm kind of just going over how we found them, funded them, and run them. So today we're going to be going over another deal that is in our Florida location. And I'm going to show you, this is a good one. This is a good one. All right. And so I'm going to show you guys how I found it, funded it, and we're running it. The most important thing is really how we funded it, because we did a creative strategy on this one. So a lot of people ask me, how have you done $20 million in real estate transactions in the last 10 years and not to put a dime of your own money into any of it, which is basically what I've done. And this facility is like every other one. I just do creative deal structuring. So I'm going to kind of get into that and how I did it and just show you kind of like my step-by-step process. So hopefully you guys like this. Let's get started. So just a reminder that I teach every Monday night, it's free to come listen. So you're always welcome to come listen. And we've, Arielyn and I, we sat this morning and went over all the topics we're going to do from now until the end of the year. And she's going to put those into the group, the Facebook group, as an event. So you guys can see which topics are coming up. And then you can register for each, you could say, yes, I'm going to this one or whatever. And then you can get an idea of kind of what we teach. So every Monday is completely different and just kind of like teach what everybody needs to know. All right, is what I do. And then also right after this, I'm going to jump onto the fund. So I have a 506c fund. If you want to be like a passive investor where you're just investing your money and then I do all the work, essentially what you can do is hop onto the pitch, which is stacyrossetti.com/fund, FUND. Okay. And that's where you can get in and you can learn about investing in the fund. We have oh my gosh, I'm going to go over tonight, 2 amazing deals in the fund that we got. I am so excited about these deals. I'm telling you, they're going to make so much money, but, so we'll go over that in the fund. And let me see what else. And then I'm going to go over the course a little bit later to make sure you guys, Arielyn, typically what she does is she'll put a link in here for $1,000 off the course. All right. So it's $19.97 if you go to our website. But if you use the link that she puts just here, so every Monday we have a link that we use, then you'll get $1,000 off the course. So it'll be $9.97. Okay. And there's like 100 videos in the course. And actually the deal analyzer that I'm using tonight is in the course. So you'll be able to see the deal analyzer in the course. And then we're in the process of updating a whole bunch of adding more videos and stuff, so over the course of the next month, you'll see more videos and trainings and I'm trying to update it, keep it up to date and modern and stuff. So we're doing that. We're in the process of doing that as well too. I just had a coaching session with one of my students that lives in the San Diego area. And she's like, there's no storage facilities here. I was like, there's a lot of storage facilities. And I started pulling up California and going to little tiny towns, and I pulled up all these old storage facilities and all these little tiny towns in California. And she's like, wow, there are storage facilities here, So maybe a little bit more expensive, I'm not sure, but there are definitely little tiny little storage facilities in little towns in California. So you don't want to rule California out just because it's California. I'm telling you, you got to get out there and look for facilities and really educate yourself. Driving for storage equals market research. And when you start really actually becoming aware of what your market looks like, you're creating this momentum and you're creating this energy, right? What you focus on expands. That's like the rule of life. What you focus on expands. All right. And so, you really want to get that energy going. Yes, it's called the power of manifestation. Okay, I agree. I totally believe in the power of manifestation, right? That's getting out there, creating momentum, creating the energy. And I'm a success story of the power of manifestation. And I know you guys can do it as well too. Okay, so I went over last week the Live Oak South facility, and this week I'm going to go over Live Oak North. All right, and if you weren't here last week, you didn't get to hear the story of how I found both of those facilities. So Live Oak, Florida is where both of these facilities are. Okay, I'll kind of zoom out a little bit, and you can see Live Oak is a little tiny town right near Lake City. It's like 10-minute drive, so it's not too far. And it's in between Tallahassee and Jacksonville. Okay. And we have a facility. We have two facilities in Live Oak, one in Valdosta, one in the Blackshear Waycross area right here. Okay. So we have a good little mini portfolio going. And we're looking for more. I just got another call from another Florida facility. I didn't get the call. Like Nick is my acquisitions person. He got the call and he was like, yeah, the owner wants to talk to you. I'm like, yeah, I love when an owner wants to talk to me, So now when I zoom into Live Oak and I just search, right, storage in Live Oak, and we'll see, let's look at all my competition here. Yeah, see? And all these people here, I mean, all these facilities, Live Oak Mini and A and Freedom, I think there's like 6 storage facilities in this area. Okay. And so you can see that there's a couple of them that are like, competition. But for me, honestly, it's like they all know that if they ever want to sell, we'd be interested in buying. Right. That's kind of how it works. So this is it. You can see Rainbow Storage, Miss Lillian's. This is our same one. They haven't taken the Rainbow Storage, but we bought Rainbow Storage. What happened, and then we also bought the storage place, which is Miss Lillian's self-storage. All right. And so we found these driving for storage. Essentially, what happened was we were driving for storage and found this facility here, called the owner and talked to him and said, look, we're interested in, buying your facility. We're just driving around and just calling every owner and talking to them. And the owner was like, yeah, I'll sell it. I'm interested. Like, let's, sell me a price. So we offered, remember this one last month is 100 units and we got it for $300,000. Like, great deal. This thing's worth like $1 million. Or like maybe 800 or 900 or $1 million. It's a good deal, whatever it is. We're going to triple the value of this property. All right. And so then, the rule is, so Chris, my acquisitions person, found this one. And then the rule is once he finds one facility, he has to call every storage facility within like a 30-minute radius. And so he called all of these facilities here and talked to all the owners. And this is the owner that wanted to sell. So that's how we found this one, Rainbow Storage. And Lillian did not want to change the name. She wanted to keep it Rainbow Storage, but we changed it to Miss Lillian's, right? Because it's Miss Lillian's self-storage. And so this is it. And that's how we found it. All right. So driving for storage and then like calling all of the facilities in the area once we picked that one up. All right. And I tell all of my acquisitions people that work for me that, all your competition should always be on your list of people that you should be calling and seeing if they want to sell as well. So just keep that in mind when you're looking. So now this is what it looks like. And here it is. This is it. This is us, Rainbow Storage, Miss Lillian's. And this is the owner. Now the owner, such a nice guy. I just love storage facility owners. They're so nice. And the owner's name's Randy, super nice guy. And every time we go to Live Oak, we always go say hi to him and stuff. He bought this property here. So he's in the land business, right? Land. All right. So he's actually in real estate as well too, but he does pine straw. That's what he does. And so he owns a lot of land, like a ridiculous amount of land, because he goes and gets all the pine straw from everywhere and stuff. That's what he does. And then he sells it to everybody. And so he was like, yeah, I got some land too, if you want to buy some land. And he's like the land guy. So if anybody needs land in Florida, but he's up like in the Panhandle, but that's where all his land is. But he has a lot of land. So he was like, so he had this property here. You see his little office is right here. Okay. And so we drove in, so actually what happened was, okay, so Chris called and talked to him first. And the guy was like, yeah, I want to sell. I do. I'm only going to sell for $600,000. If you don't want $600,000, then you can't have it. And I was like, okay. So, I called him. Called him up and I talked to him for probably 45 minutes. Lillian was at some indoor play place. And I was like, go at it. And I'll just talk to this guy. So I talked to the guy. And super nice guy. And he told me he had 116 units. Anyway, so this is the facility. I'll show you some other pictures here in just a second. This is the facility. This was his office right here. And he has a bunch of stuff in here, whatever, trucks and stuff. And then, so he owns all this property that goes all the way out to this line right here. Kind of where it's at. Okay. And then it goes back. There's a fence actually right here. And then it goes here and it goes all the way back over there. So he had bought this piece of property and it just happened to come with the storage facility. He bought it maybe 10 years ago, 10 or 15 years ago. I can't remember. And he didn't even want the storage facility. So he had so what happened actually is he hired a lady to manage the storage facility. This is a true story. He hired the lady to manage the storage facility, and he didn't pay any attention to the storage facility at all because he's he's a pine straw guy. And you go into his office and he's got pines, different types of pine straw. He was telling me about all his different pine straws. And so he told me that he said, the reason I want to sell is because I hired a lady. She's worked for me for 10 years and she did all the storage stuff. And he said, and then she quit. She had to quit or whatever. And so then he started to get into the storage accounts and everything and start looking. And then he realized that she was embezzling money the whole time. He was taking money out of his account and stuff. He's like, so you know what? I do not want the storage facility anymore. I'm just going to sell it and be done with it. So I was like, oh, lesson learned, huh? Always make sure you know your books. So he had said he never looked at the books in 10 years. He just trusted this lady that worked for her. And she was stealing the whole time. Anyway, so I was like, well, just let me take it off your hands. And I was like, I'll buy it for $600,000. I mean, 112 units or 120 units. I was like, I'll take that for $600,000. I'll show you the numbers in just a second, but I already knew that it was going to be a good deal. I was like, what about 550? He's like, no, 600. I was like, are you sure? What about 5? He's like, no, 600. That's it. I said, okay. So I just knew that I needed to find $600,000. Y'all know me, right? I never put any of my own money into any deals. I always just get other people to, put their money in and everything. So, so I was like, okay, well, where am I going to get stickers? Either I'm going to wholesale this deal, right? If I can't find the $600,000, or I'm going to find somebody to give me $600,000, And so, or go to a bank or whatever, but I've never been to a bank. I'm always raising money. And I was like, I should be able to raise 600. Come on. I'll run the numbers for you. You can show it and then I'll do a little bit. So what I did was I ran the numbers. This is what it looks like. Now, this is the deal analyzer. If you buy the course, this is the deal analyzer that you're going to get. So this is it. So I picked it up for $600,000. And I ran the numbers at 5% interest at 180 months is what I ran it at. Right? We could change it to whatever. I mean, you could run it whatever numbers that you want, but that's what I was running it at. So that means I was trying to get a private loan. Is what I was trying to do, or even go to a bank. I guess maybe yeah. So, anyways, and I ran the numbers at an 8 cap. This is pre-COVID, so it was 8 cap. I don't know if you can get an 8 cap anymore, but maybe you can. We're typically at 7. And a little tiny 6, 7 in that area. I think hopefully eventually it'll get to an 8 cap, but I don't know. We'll see. Now we ran it at an 8 cap, and he was making $75,000 at that time. That's what he said. He's like, I'm right about 75,000. And he said he just raised the rates. He had just raised the rates, and he was going to make 75,000 for the year. Actually, he just raised the rates, and he was going to make 75,000 for the year. And it was I think it was October. It was September, October. And then I picked it up. So I mean, so I just used the number 75,000. It's 112 units. It's about 12,000 square feet. Okay. And let me see if I can find some pictures. You guys can always see the pictures of my facility. Just go to misslillians.com as well, too. And then here's the Florida Live Oak North. It's right here. This is what it looks like. Yeah. See if I can get some pictures. So there it is. Like there's like he was trying to do parking, but he said he could never get the parking. And so this is like the only thing that's there, which is this ugly truck that's just like blocking everybody anyways. But as you can see that this area, there's enough to put one building in here. And then there's like the 4 buildings right here, as you can see, right? So let me go back, try to get a better, yeah, here it is. So here's the buildings, the 4 buildings, and it's all fenced in, it's gated, fenced in, got power. He's even got water. He's like, I said, why do you have water? He's like, I don't know, just put it in. That's the buildings there. It looks like that. Here's another picture of it, right? Going this way. Now, as you can see, also, this area right here is perfect for another building. So yeah, we're in the process of getting quotes. We're going to be adding a building right here. It's so funny because this property too is on up till the fence, up till this fence over here. This is county land. That's why he put the fence there. This is county land. And then this land over here, which I don't think he showed, I don't think he gave us a picture, but actually I can go back to this. Yeah, right here. So you see how this is inside the fence right here. And there's this building that you can add right here. And there's another area that you could add right here. Definitely 2 buildings you could easily add right there. But see, Randy, such a nice guy. He was like, you know what? I like you, Stacy. He's like, I'm going to throw this piece of land right in here. So he literally like threw like this whole property right here in. He's like, you could just have it. He's like, I'm gonna build me a road that comes up the back here and comes in this way. He's like, but you could have this like big rectangle, like this big square right here. I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, you can have it. It's fine. I was like, okay, thanks. It was so nice. I love storage facility owners. Like, yeah, just throw you. He's got so much land that he's like, yeah, I'll just give you an acre. It's like, I think it's like a half, it's like a half an acre, not acre. He's like, I'll just give you a half acre of land. I was like, man, you're so nice, Randy. So now we have enough room to put this, and then probably 2 more buildings right here. So we could add easily another 100 units easily in this area. And he did. We went out there. Pete said he went out there, and there's a road that was built to come into his back, because this is where he parks all his trucks and stuff or whatever. And then he also built us another road right here. He's like, I don't want you to be coming in everybody to be coming in on my driveway. So I'm just going to just build you a new driveway. So he built us a really nice driveway, which I don't have a picture of, but Pete showed me. It's like a really nice driveway he built here. And then he put a little fence right here so nobody could come onto his property. And so you have to come in here and then kind of do like a little U, but it's fine, whatever makes him happy. I mean, he's a nice guy. And so when we bought this facility, it was full, remember, and he was making $75,000. And, it's just goes to show you that, like, people that own storage facilities are just people, regular humans, and all they want to do is know, like, and trust you. And I always go out there and hang out with the owners. I introduce myself. I introduce Pete, and Pete comes out. Even sometimes bring Lillian out. We're about to buy a facility over here in Georgia, and we're going to take Lillian out there so that the owner can meet them, because we talk a lot about her and stuff. And that's what they just want that stuff. So just remember, like, this is not like big business. This is know, like, and trust is what it is. Okay. Because they're only going to sell you their property and throw in some land if they know, like, and trust you. Okay. So anyway, so that's the facility. You kind of have an idea of what it looks like now. We're going to add a building here. This is the land over here. We're going to add 2 buildings over here. Now, remember, this is county land, all fenced in, and this over here is city. Like, we literally are on the property where the city leaves. And the city ends. And so we contacted the city. In the process to build through the city, obviously, is going to be more complicated in the county. Like, we asked the county, can we add a couple of buildings for our storage? Like, yeah, sure, just go ahead. Even like with the sign, like we saw, like, Pete called the county, was like, okay, we're going to put a sign up. Like, what's the process? They're like, what process? What do you mean? Like, just put the sign up. So like, that's how the county is. And then the city, obviously, if it was, city wants you to, like, go through their whole application process and permitting and look at the drawings and all this kind of like stuff, so we're going to only put right now, our phase 1 is 2 buildings, 1 on one side and 1 on the other side. All right. And now let's look in storage and see what this thing looks like. I pulled up storage too, so y'all could see. So you could see that we're like, this is the Live Oak North. We're 83% occupied. And we have, let's see how many. 11 units are unrentable right now. And that's because I think like they're being cleaned out or whatever. And then there's 7 units that are vacant, right? And let's see, what's this one? 2 are complimentary, right? So how you see how Storehead shows that. 41% are past due. Why are 41% past due right now? Obviously, it's the third of the month, so everybody's like half the people are going to be past due. Okay, so until like the 10th of the month, this number goes down. And this facility is actually doing very, very well. And the reason that we have so many like 7 vacant right now is because we just remember, if y'all all remember, we just raised the rates in July, and we like raised them, like really raised them. And so, we had some people leave. They were just like, screw you. I'm going to go over to like A&A's or whatever, so, that's fine. That's fine. So they just left, and then we just have to build it back up. It takes a couple months to do that. By the end of the year, we should be doing pretty good with all our properties. And so that's kind of how it works with that. Let's see here. Yeah. As you see, we had we've had 36 1 to 2 year people, and then we've had 14 2 years plus, right? So we've had a good mix here on this one. And let me show you the units. Let's see, here's the facility map. Okay, so this is what you could see here. Yeah, so you could see that he has the parking available right here, but nobody's parking. We're not finding. We tried to do the parking as well too, but nobody's parking. So we're going to just go ahead and put another building in right here. We may be able to put 2. I'm not sure. We'll just have to see kind of how much space we have here, or we may just put 1 and then take the fence down and put a couple more. I'm not sure. We're still looking at that. And then 1 more building here. Okay, so you could see that like the 5x5s are on the edges. And these are going to be 5x15s, and these are like 10 by 10s right here, probably is how that works. And these are both like 10 by 10s, and then, or maybe it's 10 by 20. I don't know, actually. Let's see. Let's look in here and see. We've got 5 by 10s, 10 by 10s, 10 by 15, 10 by 20s, and 10 and 12 by 15 is the parking. So he's doing $100 for the parking is what he's doing. And 10 by 20s are 121, right? We're 94% full. Like we're full on these. And then the 10 by 15s, there's 2 left out of the 32, and there's 10 by 10s, 1 out of the 16, right? And there's 4 available of the 5 by 10s, right? So I mean, it's a good mix of even having them available. $50 for a 5 by 10, 85. He was like, when we bought the place too, he was all over the place with all the prices. Like no price was exactly the same. It's like whatever day he felt, whatever price he wanted to do, he just did or whatever, so. And it was not dynamic pricing. It was just like, oh yeah, you could take it for $50. You don't want, okay, you want 40? Sure, we'll do 40, that kind of a thing is how it was. All right. So we kind of had to weed through all that, and we try to make things standard, but we do dynamic pricing, and we have that set up as well too. So, but anyways, yeah, so that's kind of what it looks like for us. So, I love looking at this, even though I honestly really don't get into storage very much. This is not what I do. I'm finding and funding is what I'm doing, but it's good to see that. And then afterwards, if I see something wrong, I'll just go to Pete and yell at him and what's going on? This, why are we so vacant? And I'll just start he just roll his eyes at me. Okay, so let's see what else. Okay, so that's that. Now, we kind of have an idea of what it looks like. So that way we can look at our numbers and see where we were at. Oh yeah, I wanted to go to the prices, and I want to just check and see what we had here. Okay, so as you can see, it was when we bought it, it was 8% vacant. We kept it 8% vacant. We took it from we calculated 57 cents to 75 cents a square foot. All right. Now remember, a 10 by 10, that's a 10 by 10, right? 75 cents. We can look at the unit mix and see if I have that filled out or not. Yeah, we have this filled out right here. Okay, so we have the unit mix filled out, and the average of 63 cents is what he was getting. It's at 7,600. We could try to run the numbers and see what he's going to be getting, but we ran the numbers at 75 cents, what we could take the number to, right? But obviously, I think we're getting way more than that. Let's calculate it up. We're getting 50 plus 85. Let's calculate this. Oh my God. I don't know if y'all can see the calculator or not. Here, I'll move this. 50 plus 85 plus 121. 357 divided by 4. That's 89. So we're at $89 is where we're at. Okay, so let's put that into the deal analyzer. So we went way past. We're at 89 cents is what we're at. Uh-oh. Can I just control Z that? The number locks was on. Okay, we bought it at 527,000. So I tried to get him down to that number, but he said no. So I bought it a little bit over, and then we took it from, and this is probably one of the very few income producing properties that we bought, honestly. And the main reason I bought this one too is because I knew I could add on easily, like add some buildings right there. It's not going to cost that much money to add units on. And then here, so you can see that just by taking it from 57 cents to 89 cents, we took it from 600,000 to $1 million. So it's worth about $1 million right now at an 8 cap, right? An 8 cap. I mean, who here would love to buy something at an 8 cap? I'm not going to sell it to you for an 8 cap. I'm going to sell it to you for a 7 cap. That'd be nice, right? That'd be very generous of me, 7 cap, right? So $1.2 million, I could sell it right now for $1.2 million. Now, and then plus you'd be able to add on. So let's just say we do add on 100 units. All right. So let's just say we do 212 and then we add on 10,000 square feet. So that's 22,000 square feet. And it's going to cost us to add 10,000. Let's say it's going to cost us $300,000 because there's really not a lot to do except for pour the slab and put the things up. So it's not going to cost us that much money. So I'm going to say $30 a square foot. I think that should be about right. I just put 3 million. So if we add 100 units and it can cost us 300 grand, this thing is worth $2.6 million at a 7 cap. What about an 8 cap? So $2.3 million. So if we can add 100 units, this thing is going to be worth like $2.3 million. And we bought it at 600 grand. And I only have, and guess what? I didn't put a dime of my own money into this. Not a dime. That's the best part of this whole deal, right? Now, we do put sweat equity and manage it, obviously, right? And I'll tell you about that here. Just maybe manage it and do all the work and stuff, but we didn't put any money into it. Now we have to split this with the person that we partnered with, and I'm going to tell you how we did that in just a second. But that's a smoking hot deal right there. All right. And, so this is the deal analyzer that you're going to get into the course. All right. So if you need a deal analyzer, highly, highly recommend this one. And it comes also with a share sheet. Oh yeah, so the share sheet, essentially the way it looks is this is for you to give to the owner. Okay, so that you basically say, look, this is what we're valuing your property from, and this is the numbers that you gave us. And that's why you can see you're paying more than what it's actually valued at. So this is what we call the share sheet. Now it's got this equity in here because I put the $300,000 for the CapEx. Okay, this is really like your CapEx. All right, so you can take that out, but it would show you the numbers. So this is something that you could give the owner when you're making your offer and giving them the offer letter. You also give this to the owner. Okay. And then the loan calculator, this is where you could put the numbers in and calculate what your loan would be, right? So we have the numbers here at 5% and then 180 months. If I went to a bank and got a loan, like right now, it'd be at let's say 6% and then 240 months, right? You could run the numbers on that and then you could see what you're coming out to, right? The cap rate's going to come out. This is if I build on too. The cap rate's at 5 and I'm taking it to a 20%. And then, loan calculator. And then you could see that over time, if I did $125,000 down, I had this $776,000 due at the balloon, and I would pay this much to the bank, essentially. But that's what the $300,000 is what it is, right? Take all that out, it'd be different numbers. Okay, take everything out. But this is if I actually got a bank for a loan for the 600 plus the 300. That makes sense. But anyways, you have a loan calculator sheet in here that you can run your numbers on. Okay, that's there. And then you've got 3 valuation tabs. Let's see if this is, The valuation tab is essentially current, potential, and then after updates, right? And so you'll be able to see the current, the potential, and that's how we run our numbers. We always have, what is it as? What could it be if it was full? And what could it be if we added units or increased the rates? So it's 3 different ways to look at the deal. That's what it is. So here's the valuation current. Here's the valuation potential. This is if it's full. And this is the valuation after updates. Okay. And then you could see here, like if we had added those units, if we add the 100 units, our NOI would be at 183. And after the loan, we'd make $136,000 a year. Okay. And whatever numbers that you put in on any of on the loan calculator or this sheet will change all 3 of these tabs. Okay. So I just kind of wanted to show you all that. Like this is the deal analyzer. And then you have the unit mix in here as well too. You can put all your unit mixes in and try to, get your price per square foot. And then the comparison is the competition, looking at the competition. So remember, I looked at the competition on Google, right? We looked here, we looked at all the competition and all these here, like Live Oak or A&A or whatever they are. They're all going to be on this sheet here. So here's A&A. We look at them, call them, see what they're charging and stuff like that. Okay. So that's the deal analyzer that I want to show you. All right. Actually, the deal analyzer is kind of nicer. It's kind of an older one, but this is the version that you're going to get in the course. And so for many, many years, this is what we use to run our numbers. Okay. Now, the final thing is how I ended up paying for this. That is the question of the day. I've ended up paying for this. So what happened was the 600,000. So actually what happened was we went down there to go hang out with Randy another time. We drove down there and spend some time with them, just kind of go over how we're going to do all this. I just happened to be talking to him. And I was like, you're going to be making like a lot of money on this deal. Like you have to pay a lot of taxes. I was like, I didn't think about this, but would you be interested in owner financing it? And he was like, I never really thought about that actually, so he actually had a mortgage on this property. And so he was like, I have a mortgage though. So I don't, know how that would work or whatever. And I said, well, why don't you just talk to your bank and see, why don't you talk to your bank and just kind of see what they say? So he went to the bank. It's a small local bank. Telling y'all, small local banks, right? That's where you got to be. And so it's a small local bank right in the area. So he said, yeah, let me do that. So he went over and he talked to the mortgage. I think he must have owed like maybe $300,000 or something on it. And I said, look, I can come up with $200,000 if you will own or finance it. Because when I was looking for all the money, I ended up finding like one private lender that had $200,000. And I was like, okay, well, I got $200,000. Like maybe he'll own or finance it is what I was thinking. So that's basically, I found somebody that had $200,000. And I said, would you be interested in owner financing? So he went to his bank. He talked to his bank. The bank said, you know what? Like, why don't we just let them assume the loan? They could just assume the loan. So in the end, like the bank basically like gave us the loan. So basically the way it works now is that it's kind of like owner financing. We have the bank and like Randy and the bank together on this loan. That's like a $400,000 loan. Then we have another partner came in with the $200,000, lent the money to us, and then we partnered on the deal. So essentially, I got the owner to owner finance $400,000 of it, which was the amount of money, pretty much the amount of money that he was going to make. He was going to make like $300,000, and the bank allowed him to just like let us assume the rest of the loan. And so like $400,000 owner financed, and then $200,000 was brought in by a partner, right? And the partner, the split was 70-30, 70 to me and 30 to the partner. Okay. But the partner gets, he's lending the money to the bank. So he gets 8% on the loan, but that didn't start until 1 year later. So actually we just are starting those payments now because it's been a year since we've owned this property. So we pay the partner 8% every month starting now. And the person that lent they gave us $225,000 because I had to pay Chris for finding the deal. right? So I owed him 25 grand. So I was like, let me just borrow the 25 grand so I could pay Chris too. So we borrowed the $225,000 from the partner, did it a 70-30 split on the deal. And then we got the $400,000 from the owner to owner finance us. And he gave us 4% interest on that. So essentially for the first, also, and another thing too, is that the owner said that, he said, why don't you just do interest only payments for like 2 years? Like that was his idea. He's like, why don't you just do like interest only? I was like, really? Wow, that's nice of you. He's like such a nice guy. And he's like, yeah, he's like, you're going to get this thing up and running. You need some cash. And I was like, well, that's awesome. Thank you so much. So we paid like, I think $1,500 a month, I think for the first year, for the first $400,000, or the first 2 years for like $400,000. And then after that, we'll go up to the regular amount. And so that's basically what we did. So we put no money into the deal. Us personally, we put no money into the deal. We got a $600,000 storage facility, $400,000 owner financed by the owner at 4% interest, and 2 years of interest only payments. The first 2 years interest only payments from that, and then we got $225,000 from a partner, and we're doing 8% interest on that, but only for the first year. And only for as long as we have the property together. So it's, there's like no terms in how long we have that loan for. Right. He just said, as long as we own the property together, you just pay me 8% interest, which is very smart anyways. There doesn't really need to be terms on like private money. I mean, people, they just want that money every month. Yeah. So basically in the end, we bought this facility for $600,000. And it's worth $1 million right now. And all we did was just raise rates. And then we'll work on adding the 2 buildings in the first part in the county area. And it's probably going to cost us, I'm not sure, I can't remember. We calculated that, but I can't remember how big it is. But I think it's going to cost us like $50,000 to $75,000 a building. So it'll be like $150,000 between the both. Remember, we calculated $300,000 to put 4 buildings up. So really 150 is probably about right anyways. And so now we need to come up with $150,000 to build the building. And essentially the partner said, I'll bring the money to the table. It's fine. I'll just lend you the money. So he's going to lend us the $150,000 as well for us to build the buildings. And that's where we're at. That's phase 2. So phase 1 was getting it up, running, and stabilized. And phase 2 is now adding 2 new buildings to the property. And we'll borrow that $150,000 from our partner. Okay, and then we'll just manage it. Now we get 70% of the deal, so that $1 million, is we only get 70%, and whatever we make, that's how it works. But so we had to give up 30% of the deal for that. But in the end, why not, right? That's as creative as you can get. Actually, that's not as creative as you can get. I can't wait till I tell you another deal, but I can't tell that till I close. But that's pretty creative. And buying a property with no money down. Buying a property, you hear in real estate all the time that, people buy properties with no money. And that's what I do. No money. You have to be creative. Think outside the box. Okay, so question and Q&A. Angie, confused on your partner slip. 8% interest and 70-30 split? Yes. 8% interest for the $200,000 that we borrowed to the partner. So they really lent us, they gave us debt is what they did. They lent us the money. So money is either debt or, equity, so like, equity in, right? But they gave us essentially a loan for the money. And in return, we gave him 30% of the deal as well, because we're also nice, right? If you're going to be nice, it's a win-win situation for everybody. It's a win-win situation. You definitely don't want to be greedy. That's for sure. Right. There's nothing wrong with giving up some money. I own a fund, right? And it's a 75-25 split. I only get 25 and everybody else gets 75%. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that as well, too. Just as long as you can, the deal, you can get the deal done. That's how you get a lot of deals done, actually. Okay. Were they damaged at all from the hurricane? No. Can you say something about insurance on facilities? Yeah. Yeah. So this is like the Panhandle like rarely ever gets hit by hurricanes. Like it's too far in. Right. So, but and I don't even think we have flood insurance. I think our insurance is high because Florida is a high insurance. See, we're here in Live Oak. It's like in the most, inland that you can be in the Panhandle. It came in and it rained in this area, but like there was no issues with the hurricane. Once it hits landfall and stuff, now it came over and then it went up this way and it hit over here. But that's why I like the Panhandle. Like for some reason, the Panhandle just always gets missed, up this area. But insurance is expensive in Florida. But I think it's expensive everywhere. I mean, I feel like Pete said that our insurance has gone up like a lot in this year. If you have a local guy doing landscape or repairs and they get hurt, how do you handle it? We have insurance, on the property, and we have liability insurance. As I said, that something happens on the property, then that's covered, right? So we essentially have a commercial real estate policy, and it's for like warehouses. It's a commercial warehouse insurance policy. And all of our properties are in that one plan is how it works. Okay. So if anything ever happens now, like we had one incident on one of our facilities where a tree fell, like there was a storm in Georgia, a tree fell on top of an RV and like just flattened it, like big, huge tree. And so then of course, we got somebody called and told us like, oh, there's a tree on the RV. Right. So we called the owners and they were like, oh my God, and we said, just talk to your insurance company because our insurance company is not going to do anything about that. That's not included. All right. So you're going to talk to your own insurance company. And so they had their insurance company handle everything and they got like a brand new RV. Where will the money from the improvements come from? Yeah, there you go. I told you our partner, he's going to bring the money to the deal. My partner, the partner that's lending the money on this, he's in like cryptocurrencies and like Bitcoin and all this. That's his thing. That's what he does. That's how he makes the money. Let's see what happens to him in the next year, right? Everything's going crazy, but that's how he's made his money. And then let's see what else. So you just you just never know where you're going to find money. And you know what? When I have a deal, like I'm just asking people for money. That's what I'm doing. Like I was like, how do you find all your money? Like I ask people for money, right? I'm always pitching every week, all the time. Anybody I talk to, I'm asking them for money. Okay, that's my job. And that's what your job should be too. If you want to do a lot of deals in the commercial world, then you have to be pitching. And you need to be letting everybody know what you're doing. That's the job. That's your job, is letting people know what you're doing so that you can raise money to use, because commercial real estate is expensive. So, you have to, and you can't, banks are going to only go so far. You can see what's happening right now. There's a huge crisis. So you have to, I'm going to be just fine in the next couple of years. Like, I'm not worried about anything because like, I just borrow other people's money. That's what I do, so they don't want their money back. In fact, we just had one, like a term come up and the owner, said, he called, he said, your term's coming up for your loan. He's like, do you want to just redo it again? Or what do you want to do? And I was like, oh yeah, sure, that's fine. Because we were going to refi it out. We were going to actually, we were just going to sell the property. And then he was like, no, I don't want my money back. Just like, let's just redo it. And you could just do another couple of years. I was like, okay, fine. So it's like 8% interest. It's not like it's that big of it. It's going to be 8% interest by the end of the year, right? So, I've always paid really high interest rates. So for me, high interest rates don't bother me at all. Just as long as my spread is big enough for me to make money on it. I don't care what my interest rate is. Okay, good. Any final thoughts? Oh yeah. So I'm going to jump off right now and I'm going to go to my pitch. So stacyrossetti.com/fund. And then also again, oh yeah, I wanted to show you my course. If y'all are interested, just go to the stacyrossetti.com. If you go to my website, it's going to be $2,000. So this is what the course looks like. Just so you know, there's the Jumpstart course. Right. This is like, I just want to, Stacy, I don't want to go through all this course right now. I just want to like, tell me what to do. Right. So there's like 7 modules where you can just like, okay, now I can at least get started. Right. And then there's the office admin. There's 11 videos. Marketing is 13. Acquisitions is 13. I'm taking you through my 6-step system. right? So remember, like I told you, like here's acquisitions. You click on this, here's all your videos. And then like, what is cap rate? What to look for when you're looking for at a roof, what to look for when you're walking a property, due diligence. And then you'll get like the due diligence checklist. You'll get, a whole bunch of different, like here's the deal analyzer I was telling you about. Like if you clicked on this, and then you just go right here in the deal analyzer. This is the deal analyzer. There's a video of me going over it. And then here's the deal analyzer. You can click here and download it. Okay. So that's why I wanted to show you the course a little bit. And like, there's all kinds of templates and checklists and stuff. And over the course of the next month, I'll be updating and putting some new stuff in because we got a whole bunch of new stuff that we've been doing. So I'm going to slowly be doing that. Everybody that buys the course will get all the updates and everything as well too. Okay. So that's the 6-step system. Let me go back to course, right? It's a whole bunch of stuff in there. And then there's the management, finance, that's raising the money, right? Financing, management. There's some guest speakers, and like all my coaches, essentially, I asked them to come to do something. How to wholesale self-storage is there, and then also some replays of some Monday nights. Because remember, the Monday night replays are only available in this course, and then also for the students, and that's it. Okay, so I just wanted to show you the course. This is what it looks like if you're interested in getting it. And the deal analyzer's there, all kinds of stuff, checklists, and I'll be adding more stuff as well too. So hopefully that'll help some people, right? Because the doors don't open to storage nerds until January. So in the meantime, do the course and start getting out there and looking for facilities. All right. So I appreciate you guys hanging on to the end, and I will be back next Monday. And if there's anything else, we're here for you. Okay. Get out there and start looking for some deals. Okay. All right. Take care and have a good evening.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Storage Nerds. Hope this informative conversation inspired you to go out there and jump into this highly profitable business venture that people rarely talk about. Get more tips on storage space investing at www.stacyrossetti.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave a rating. Together, let's build that thriving passive income one storage space at a time. Until next time.